Hey, what's up? It's Tony from Street Church, and welcome to the Inside Job Podcast. Hey, this is our third and our last week of a series called But God. I think it's a crucial series. I think those two words are like so much more important than we'll ever know, than we'll ever realize. Because the truth is this: if God had not decided to hit the pause button, intervene in our lives, and give us a but God moment and pour his kindness and grace in our lives, then we would all be hot messes. We would all be in a heap load of trouble. But the good news is he did, and he continues to. Last week, we were talking about the impact and the change that could occur in somebody's life who is, a receiver of a but God moment. This week, we're going to talk about the impact and change that could occur in somebody's life who's willing to dive into people's lives and be the giver of but God moment and pour grace and kindness and mercy into their lives. I love the Apostle Paul. He's my example for so many things, right? So I'll set the stage for you real quick. So the Apostle Paul, a violent persecutor of the church, gets knocked off his horse. He sees a blinding light. It's Jesus. He gets saved. Right out of the gates, he begins to serve the Lord, share the gospel, and serve the poor, right out of the gates. Then a few years later, he finally meets Peter, James, and John, giants of the faith, right? And I love what happens, in their meeting. It's in Galatians. It's in the book of Galatians. Right off the bat, James, Peter, and John, it doesn't take long for them to see that this guy, Paul, he's a 100%er. I mean, he's a Jesus guy through and through. He's the real deal. They see it right off the bat. And then right before Paul leaves, this is what they say to him. And I love it. They say this. They say they agreed that we should continue to go to the Gentiles and they to the circumcised. All they asked was that we should continue to remember the poor, the very thing I have been eager to do all along. I love Paul's response. It's almost like he was saying, listen, guys, you don't even need to tell me to remember the poor. You don't even need to tell me to remember to be a giver of a but God moment in people's lives who are hurting and suffering and pour out kindness and grace into their lives. Like, that's a given because I'm eager to do it. Like, I love what he did not say. He didn't say, oh yeah, I know that I'm obligated to continue to do it. Or I know that it's the right thing to, do. Or I've read it in the scripture, so yeah, I will therefore do it. No, he said, I'm excited about continuing to be the giver of a but God moment in people's lives who are hurting and suffering. I'm eager to do this. I want to do it. I'm passionate about doing it. And I gotta believe the reason why was because he was already doing it. Because he was doing it, right? I think the more that we align ourselves with what God wants in our lives, and God wants us to be the givers of but God moments in the lives of other people who are hurting and suffering and who are just waiting for a but God moment. He wants us to be the givers of those moments. And the more that we are, and the more that we're willing to do that, the more that we're going to want to do it. The more eager and passionate and excited we are about wanting to continue, right, to do it. It's not going to be an obligatory thing. We're going to be excited about it. It's kind of like when I go to my mom's house, right? And when she cooks eggplant parmesan, which is not nearly enough, Mom, just saying. When I sit down and eat it, it's so good, The only thing I'm thinking is like, when's the next time she's going to cook this, right? I can't wait. I'm so eager for the next time I'm going to be able to sit down and eat her eggplant parmesan, right? Same sort of a principle here, right? The more that we are willing to stop, intervene in people's lives who are hurting and be the givers of a but God moment, the more eager we're going to be to continue to do it. And the reason why is because, our hearts basically are a desire factory. And when we do something that is what we were created to actually do, when we find ourselves in the will of God, and when we're willing to jump into people's lives and give them a but God moment, then what happens is God jumps into our hearts and he puts his desires within our hearts and he changes our hearts. Listen, man, the human heart is a desire factory. So be careful what you wish for. You'll get it. But the more that we align ourselves with the way that God wants us to live, especially in those people's lives who are hurting and suffering, the more he's going to implant his desires within our hearts. And that's going to come out because it goes on a conveyor belt and it comes out of our lives, right? And that's called the grace of God. And that's the benefit, the greatest benefit a person could ever get of being a giver of a but God moment. Heart change, life transformation. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm going down swinging. So one for the road. Whatever we give, it boomerangs back to us. Remember, count each day a new life. Hey, got a really awesome series scheduled to go out next. Can't wait to see you. Have a great day.